Hey everybody, it's Yasir back with a different kind of video today, and this was inspired by one of my clients who asked me a question, and the question was something that I had myself. So it's, what do you do with the money you make from your business, or what do you do with money lying around? How do you invest that money? Is it supposed to stay in your bank account? And I wish this is something that I knew when I started my business, because I was in survival mode. I barely had any money in the first place. I wasn't thinking about investing it. I was thinking about, how do I pay my bills? How do I pay rent? That kind of thing. But now that I'm in a place where I have sufficient savings, I'm wondering what to do with it. And there's a lot that I've had to learn over the past few months. So I want to talk about that. The reason I really want to make more of these videos is because I was thinking, ultimately, what is the purpose of my channel? The purpose of my channel is to help people achieve financial freedom through their coaching business, start their own business, work less, do what they really love doing, charge more, because I provide sales training on this channel. But ultimately, the end goal is the same. The end goal is, how do I make more money in my sleep, or what do I do with my money so it grows over time? So a good portion of what I've learned over the past few months is what to do with the money you have. So I'm going to be introducing some more of these investment style videos as well. Now, I do have to throw a caveat out there because YouTube's going to ding me. I don't want any lawsuits or anything. I'm not an investment advisor. Anything I say, don't take it as investment advice. Honest to God, I'm not much of an expert as well. I had to learn about investments very, very recently. In fact, I had a partner of mine who worked in investments, and she took a whole year, and I still would never get on investments. So this is something that I'm doing for myself, and it's just mainly to show you what I'm doing and maybe give you some ideas, but it is not investment advice, okay? So when you have, let's say, a couple of bucks lying around, your priorities are usually, well, I got to pay rent, all of this stuff. But we're going to talk about, from a business standpoint, if you have some savings lined up. When I started my business, I wasn't ready for the amount of money I was going to make, right? I was just like, if I can make a couple of $100 here and there, I'm good. But when thousands of dollars started coming my way, I didn't know what to do with all that money. So when all that money came forward, I was like a kid in a candy store. I went and I bought a PlayStation, I bought a new MacBook, or right here, right? I bought this little thing here. I bought a new TV, all these things, because I didn't know what to do with money. I had never had that much money before. On the bright side, I had a very, very small shopping list. There's not too many things I want. I bought a pillow, I bought a ring light, I bought the PS5 and the TV, but then I was good. I kind of ran out of things to do because I'm not a very, I can get by with very little, right? So once I'm done with that, I've got all this money lying around. I'm not sure what to do with it. So that's when I started looking into investments. I hate numbers. Math is not my thing. I can't stand it. So this is coming from a perspective of someone who just is terrible at anything to do with numbers, investments, taxes, whatever. I don't like it. But now, because I've taken time to learn about it out of sheer desperation, I've gotten a pretty good handle of it, and I've made some pretty good gains about it as well. So I want to break down for you where I put my money, how much money I put in there, and I'll be totally transparent with you, and what kind of returns I've seen on that, okay? So we'll talk about a variety of different investments. I'm not going to complicate this. I'm going to make it as simple as possible. I want you to start with thinking about just the stock market in general, right? The safest play you can probably take with stocks, and it's much easier, by the way. You have so many of these robo-advisor apps. Like here in Canada, I use something called Wealth Simple, where all you do is you look up the kind of stock you want to buy. It'll show you what the price is, and you just deposit money and you buy. It's the simplest thing ever. I don't know why I was complicating it. I was just getting really confused, like, oh my God, what's the prices and all of that. But the easiest thing to do is just buy something called an ETF, right? So let me just open up where is it? There we go. So an ETF is essentially, it's like a whole bunch of stocks put together. That's my understanding of it as well. So they'll take, like, assuming you have like a tech stock, right? So they'll take Tesla, they'll take Shopify, Spotify. They'll put all those stocks into like one fund, so you don't have to go and buy a million different stocks individually. You can just buy one. One of my favorite ones is called the ARK ETF. Okay, so I love this one because this is actually not this is not the one I was looking for, these dinosaurs and stuff. So ARK ETF, yeah. So it's made by someone called Kathy Wood. I'm a huge fan of Kathy Wood. She's got a tremendous track record. Again, I was learning all this thing very recently. She's got a tremendous track record when it comes to her investments. So essentially, all you would do is you would go to your stocks, you would find any one of these stocks. So she's got multiple batches, right? So you've got all these innovation companies, so all the new disruptive innovation companies in one stock. You can buy a piece of all of those companies by buying one stock. She's got genome, fintech, all these different things, different categories. Think about it, right? Like, do you want to invest in, let's say, technology? Do you want to invest in oil? All these different things. There's an ETF for every one of them. I'm a big fan of anything ARK in general. I'm a big fan of ARK Innovation, so I put a lot of money in that as well. So ETFs are very safe because they're growing on a very consistent basis. So if you look at, let's say, ARK ETF, you can see at any time, this has been the past year, right? You can see how much of a change you've seen. Don't get too complicated with, where should I buy it. The rule with ETF is, at least the way I perceive it, just buy it any time. If you see a dip, great, but buy it any time and just expect it to grow from there. So it's not like you're risking anything. It just has to be the kind of money you don't need right now. You don't need to spend it right now. Put it in the fund and then forget about it, okay? So I put some money on ETFs because it's safe. It's safe to grow your money that way. And again, it's the simplest thing to do. You can find a whole lot of other, you can just write best ETFs here and just go down the list. And these things will break it down for you. Don't overcomplicate this. The Vanguard one is really good. Essentially, it's the stock market. The stock market is growing at all times, right? So if you buy now, in 6 months, a month, or 10 years down the line on average, it is going to be growing. So you will be growing your money. The opportunity cost is to have your money sitting in your bank account and it's depreciating in value pretty much every single day because of inflation. So literally anything you do, or putting your money into stocks, is going to be better than having your money sitting in your bank account. That's how I perceive it. Again, not investment advice. This is something you can do if you want to be safe. Now, for me, I'm a little bit of a gambler. I like taking risks with my investments, and that's weird to say because I couldn't shut up about how it's too risky. I don't want to do any of this stuff. I am a huge fan of, drumroll, Bitcoin, okay? I did some research on Bitcoin. I was like, what's the best investment right now? When I was investing in Bitcoin, luckily enough, let's go down the 5-year model, actually, for 1 year, yeah. I put my money somewhere around, where was it? Around January, right? So I put my money in Bitcoin at that time, and I didn't put enough. I just put just a little bit. I think it was like $2,000 or something. And I was like, okay, I'll wait it out. And now it's at like 71,000. This is Canadian price, right? So it just shot right up. So now I've been doing a lot more research. About 60% of my portfolio is entirely in cryptocurrencies. So Bitcoin is a big one, and it's like the volatility with Bitcoin is very high. So if you're someone who's always looking at the stocks, always looking at the price, probably going to give you a heart attack because it goes really up, goes down, goes up, goes down. For me, I just see Bitcoin as something that's going to be going up for the next year at least. Like if you look at the cycles, right, it always goes up and then it goes back down, and then it goes up and then it goes back down, then it goes up and it goes back down. But this cycle, the upward movement has been amazing. So we're in what we call a bull cycle, meaning the prices are just going up, everybody's buying. Eventually it's going to shoot an all-time high. That's what I'm expecting. So I'm putting a crap ton of cash in Bitcoin. So I've got money in Bitcoin. I've got money in types of Bitcoin. I'm also a huge fan of another cryptocurrency called Cardano. So these are types of coins, right? Bitcoin is like a type of cryptocurrency. So I put my money in Cardano when it was around the 50-cent mark or something of that sort, and now it's like at $1 or whatever. I don't want to complicate this for you, but this is just what I'm doing with my money. I'm putting a lot of money into Bitcoin because I feel like it's a really good investment. It's a really good substitute for gold. And the rest of the 40% that I have in stocks, I have it in either ETFs or I have it in crypto stocks. So if you think about it, a large portion of the money that I'm putting in is something crypto related. But if you are investing for the first time and you don't have a lot of money saved up, a very good rule of thumb is always diversify. So don't put all of your money into one basket, right? Don't put all your money into tech. Don't put all your money into the banking sector. Don't put all your money into something like crypto, which is weird for me to say because I've done that. But that's because of my own research. I want to be able to take more risks, and I'm completely fine with that. For me, this is like a little bit of free money, right? That I can play around with a little bit. I can put it in places and have it grow. But if you're someone who has a business right now, these are some options for you to consider. So can you put your money into stocks, ETFs that just grow over time at a stable income and give you sustainable returns, assuming you don't need the money right now? So maybe have 6 months of cash lined up. The rest of it, just keep adding, keep adding, keep adding. They call it dollar cost averaging, which is essentially every week, every 2 weeks, every month at a specific date. Just keep adding to your portfolio. Don't worry about the price, because we get into this mindset, at least I did, where you wait for the dip. I'm going to wait for the price to drop. Once the price drops, then I'm going to buy, but the price never drops. It keeps going up, and up and up, and next thing you know, you never bought anything. So you've got a bunch of money like saved up for yourself, right? If you want the safer play, pick an index fund, pick an ETF. Those are very easy. Again, just Google top 10 best performing ETFs and then pick your favorites, put some money into it, and keep adding to it as you go. Over time, it's going to grow. It's going to grow much more than sitting in your bank account and eating away because of inflation, right? That's the safest thing you can do. If you have a lot of money, depending on your risk profile, and that's just a complicated way of saying, how much risk do you want to take? Are you someone who can put money and see the stock fall and hold it long enough for it to go up, assuming it does? Or are you someone who just panics every time the stock goes down and you start selling, right? If you are that latter person, the stock market is probably not for you. Crypto is definitely not for you, because it's always going up and down like that. But the reason I want to talk about investment is because it's such an easy way to make money over time. It's such an easy way of finding really, really good investment opportunities. Another company that I'm really big on right now, and I've put at least $10,000 into, is Palantir. Okay, now Palantir is a very controversial company. They do a lot of things with data. They're working with the U.S. government. One of their primary clients is the U.S. government, and it's backed by the U.S. government. So the good thing about this company is it's a data collection company, or a data analysis company. Honestly, I don't even know what the hell they do. I just know they collect data and they sell it to the government. They don't have any natural competitors. So right now, the stock price is around, what, $23, something of that sort. When I bought it, it was around $20. I'm expecting this to grow in like 3 to 5 years down the line. Now, if you want to grow now, you want to get instant money, probably not a great stock. So you can invest in your Teslas. You can invest in some of these big companies that are, they call it too big to fail, right? But you also have to consider, if I buy a Tesla, how much room does it have to grow from there? If you buy the Tesla stock at, let's say, 690, there it is now, is it going to grow more? I feel like it has a lot more room to grow, because Tesla is doing so many things with automation and whatnot. Again, I don't want to complicate the crap out of this for you, but think about safe investments that are better alternatives than having your money set in the bank account. What else could you be doing with that money? The last thing you want is $10,000 sitting for an entire year at, what, 7% inflation, whatever it is, and losing value year over year. Things are getting more expensive. Your value of your money is dropping. So a very good alternative is to invest in either Bitcoin. That's my personal opinion. I love doing that. Or putting in the stocks if you want to be safe. I think if you want to do low volatility, predictable, somewhat predictable, because no stock is predictable. Safe is the word I'm looking for. Safe investment. Look at something like an index fund. Look at something like an ETF. Now, I want to be transparent about the results I have gotten with my stocks, because I put my money into a lot of high risk stocks. I put my money into Bitcoin earlier on, like I mentioned, and the gains have been great, but I'm fully expecting it to drop. And when it drops, I'm going to add more. And when it drops again, I'm going to add more, but I'm going to ride it through. My personal estimation is that something like cryptocurrency is going to do really well up until the fall of this year, so 2021. So I'm going to hold at least, 100% of it till then. And if it goes high enough, I might sell off like a third of it just to gain some profits, and the rest of it I'll keep. And once the price tanks, I'm going to add more and more. Again, this is just based on my research. Do your own research. When it comes to my stocks, I'm just going to leave them there for a while. I've got stocks in Tesla. I've got stocks in some of these big tech companies, Palantir. And I'm always looking up new opportunities every day. But it's also very important not to get addicted to buying stocks all the time. Just buy it, kind of leave it there. So for you, depending on where you are, depending on what your risk profile is, depending on how much money you have and how much money you want to make, pick a stock. It's the easiest thing in the world. Download one of these robo-advisors, Simple in Canada. I'm not sure what it is in the US, Vanguard or whatever. Trust me, if you've never done stocks before, it's the easiest thing to get into, and you're going to be thanking yourself a while from now, okay? So I want to make more videos about this, because I feel like this is something I wish I knew about money, because I'm not very money literate. I want to talk more about financial literacy. I want to talk more about what you can do with your money, how you can grow your money, how you should spend your money. so that when you're growing your coaching business, you're growing whatever business you have, all that money is going somewhere that grows and gives you financial freedom, okay? If you are interested in learning more about starting your own coaching business, you can find resources for that in the description. I've got a whole list of resources. Get on a call with me. We can talk more about that as well. I hope you like this kind of content. If you did, I'll make more in the future. Let me know. Like and subscribe. See you in the next one.